Welcome to footballgameplan.com, where football makes sense. I'm Emery Hunt, the czar of the playbook, bringing you a 2012 team preview for the New York Jets. We're going to start with their offense to see what we can expect the Jets to look like this upcoming season. The Jets QB spot will be interesting this year as opposed to last. So let's start with Mark Sanchez. I'm a Sanchez fan, and I feel his pain. It's tough to play quarterback for a defensive-minded head coach. They think defensively. They're allergic to the passing game. They don't want you to make mistakes. And I also like the fact that they've gotten rid of what I consider was the problem last year with the passing game and Schottenheimer. No longer will you see those 4-yard curl routes in the Jets offense. So the Jets will open up the passing game if they allow it to happen. Now, also look at the fact that they bring in Tim Tebow. The Jets have 2 young starters now at QB. The question I have is, are you going to be more of a running team? If so, throw Tebow in there. He's going to open up that running game, and that's going to play into the mold of how Rex Ryan really wants to play. Ball control offense, outstanding defense. If you're going to throw the football, if you're going to open up the passing game, then you have to start Sanchez. But right now, the Jets created an issue with 2 starting quarterbacks. Something has to give. They have to make a decision. And I don't see this thing working out like they expect it to, because you can't keep both guys off the bench, because both guys are starting talent, and starting talent has to be on the football field. It'll be interesting to see how this thing works out this year in New York. The running game is always a focal point for the New York Jets, and Sean Green quite possibly had the quietest 1,000-yard season last year. I think he's going to have at least 12 to 1,400 yards this season. I think he's going to get an increased load. That's why it's important for a guy like Joe McKnight to step his game up and step his play up to help spare some of these carries, some of these touches from Sean Green. McKnight brings you a little bit more explosiveness out of the backfield. He can catch the football out of the backfield, so you can get a little bit more versatile with him in your running game, but he has to be able to run in between the tackles. He has to be able to create some of those type of situations, those second and short, third and short situations that's going to help out this offense, help out the passing game. The good thing about McKnight, though, he always has this aspect in his game, the ability to help you out in the return game. But keep an eye on rookie Terrence Ganaway. They drafted out of Baylor. The big thumper is going to come in and help out in short yardage situations. The Jets passing game has to be the biggest question mark coming into the season. So when you look at their receiving core, you're looking for superstars. And I see 2 superstars on this receiving core right now. I see Santonio Holmes, an outstanding receiver, a guy that can come in, make plays, always has a knack for the clutch play. You can count on him when the game is on line, because he's going to make the play. And he also has that slithery smooth speed to take it the distance. You also got to like Dustin Keller, the outstanding tight end. I think this is the year Dustin Keller moves up into that upper echelon talk of top tight ends in this league. He's already top 10. I think he can move into top 5 if he have another outstanding campaign. You just got to get him the football, get him more opportunities, because he can do damage once he has the football in his hands. And also like Jeremy Curley, a second-year guy out of TCU, started to come on later on in the season. Good quickness, solid hands, has good burst after the catch. So there's some pieces in place to have some success with their frontline starters, but they need this guy, Stephen Hill, the second-round draft selection, to come in and have a huge impact as a rookie. The Jets may not say so, but I'm going to say it. They really need him to come in and have a Randy Moss type of impact. If he can do so, then this Jets offense will really start to take flight. The Jets have one of the better offensive lines in the NFL, if not the best offensive line in the AFC. They're led by their center, Nick Mangold, who's a perennial All-Pro. Also left tackle, the Brickashaw Ferguson, one of the better tackles in this league. Another guy that's always in the Pro Bowl. When I look at some question marks for the Jets offensive line, there's only one, and it's Wayne Hunter on the right side. The right tackle position is a very important position in the Jets offense, because it seals the edge in the running game. They need him to pick up his play, which is why you probably see a guy like Robert T. Griffin, the 6th-round draft selection out of Baylor, see a lot of ticks this year at that right tackle position. But on the interior, Matt Slauson is in a contract here, so expect him to play better this year and trying to get that money from the Jets. Also, I'm interested to see how well Vladimir Dukas improves. Can he live up to the billing that they had for him when they selected him out of UMass? Usually defensive linemen in 3-4's job is just to occupy blockers and control gaps, but not the Jets defensive line. Muhammad Wilkerson is a guy that can get pressure on the quarterback. Liked him coming out of Temple, called him chaos on wheels. He should have an improved second year in that system. And they also drafted Quentin Coples out of North Carolina, a guy that has a 6'6", 295-pound frame, will do an outstanding job as a 5 technique as far as pushing the pocket, and can also slide down and play tackle in pass rushing situations. So I think they're going to be fine up front. I like the fact they re-up Sion Pua, the nose tackle. This guy does a great job of pushing the pocket from within, and that's what you need up front. I think the Jets D-line will do their part in order to ensure success. And I like the depth they have. Mike DeVito, a guy that can play any parts of the defensive line, but I'm really interested to see how well does Kenrick Ellis improve in his second year. They need a lot out of this young man if he can shake his off-the-field issues. David Harris leads an impressive group of linebackers for the Jets. I even like the way they got production out of Aaron Maben, who shows some pass rushing ability. But David Harris is a guy, he's one of the better linebackers, one of the more underrated linebackers in this league. Now, there are some age concerns on the outside, or even on the interior. You look at Bart Scott being up there in age. You look at Calvin Pace being up there in age. But I think the Bart Scott replacement is already on the roster. They drafted Demario Davis out of Arkansas State. You like a bigger, stronger, faster, younger version of Bart Scott, you're going to love this guy. Thumper, guy that can roam sideline to sideline and does a great job of stopping guys in their tracks. Even Brian Thomas has 11 years in the league, and that's another guy that's getting up there in age. But I think the Jets have prepared themselves adequately behind these older guys with some young, impactful players. And I also like Nick Bellore, the inside linebacker. Keep an eye on him. He should see an increased role this season for the Jets. This year, I know last year they had questions at the safety spot, but let's start with the corners. They have two of the best corners in the league. Darrelle Revis, you already know about him. Revis Island, one of the lockdown corners, premier corners in this league. But let's not kid ourselves. Antonio Cromartie, although he gives up some big plays, he also takes chances, and I like that about a cornerback that's willing to take chances. I like a guy that's going to come away with some interceptions. Yes, he may give up the big play, but he does come away with interceptions, and he's also a threat to take it the distance. So both sides of their secondary are awesome. Revis and Cromartie, I like those two. They got to really get help in the nickel spot. They got to find a guy. Kyle Wilson has to step up and be that guy this year. But the safety spot is where I'm most impressed. They bring over two guys who are going to be impact players right away, LaRon Landry and also Jeremiah Bell. Both guys are built like strong safeties, but both have the ability to cover. So that's going to help out that Jets defense that loves to get pressure on the QB. So I think the Jets right now went from a weakness last year in the safety position to an outstanding strength. These guys probably have the best secondary in the AFC. The Jets follow football's original formula for success, which is play sound defense, have a sound running game, have outstanding special teams. So every year you can have optimism if you're a Jets fan. Where they have to improve has to be the passing game. If the passing game ever catches up to the running game, this could be a dangerous team because their defense will be solid for 16 games. If the offense doesn't have long sustained drives and do something to keep these guys off the field, then that's when the defense falters. So as long as they can continue to do what they've been doing, running the football, playing outstanding defense, the Jets will always have a chance. And that's why you have to go into this season with some optimism, because the same formulas for success are still in place. The firestorm that has been created at the quarterback position is the only cause for concern. The Jets have two young starting quarterbacks. That's rare you see in the NFL. And it's not that both guys can't play well. I'm a Sanchez fan. I'm also a Tebow fan. But what have they done to create this controversy, this unnecessary controversy? That's number one, a cause for concern. Number two, can they stop the run this year? If so, then the Jets can make the playoffs. If not, it's going to be a long season out there in New York. I have the Jets finishing fourth in the AFC East. When I look at this division as a whole, everyone has gotten better, including the Jets. But I look at the team they're going to compete with. I say the Miami Dolphins and the Jets are right now the same team. Both are aggressive defensively. Both can run the football. Both have some issues in the passing game. And that's why I have the Jets rated right here this season. If that passing game catches fire, the Jets can definitely move up this year.